Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Bream Fishing Project. In this episode, we're off to one of my most favourite waterways. We're off to Forster with the guys from New South Wales Tournament Series. This one was run and won on the 12th to 13th of July in 2025. A cracking episode. One of the things I liked about it is the fish catches match the bite period, so maybe pay attention. All right, here we go. Here's the intros and we'll get straight into it.
Welcome to the Bream Fishing Project. This is where you need to be every Tuesday to find out all the latest tips and tricks to help you target bream on lures. You'll get to hear from some of Australia's elite bream competition anglers and see how they were able to achieve their results in competitions around the country. Now, here's your host, the 2019 Hobie Kayak Fishing World Champion, Andrew Deeth.
All right, big shout out to the captive audience. I know you guys are there not enjoying the show, but we do appreciate you allowing it to be on in the car, in the house, or wherever it is that you are. Appreciate that. This was a great episode. Like I said, the bite periods matched the fish catches in a couple of cases, so definitely worth paying attention to that. Okay, so let's run through the bite periods for this one, and then we'll get straight into the angler interviews. So on the 12th, so Saturday the 12th, we had minor bite period at 7:08 a.m. through to 8:38, with a major bite period at 11:46 through to 2:16 p.m. High tide was at 9:19 at 1.16, running down to a low tide at 2:46 p.m. at 0.35. On the Sunday, we had slightly less than the fish activity wheel at 75. The minor bite period was at 7:45 through to 9:15, with a major bite period at 12:38 through to 3:08 p.m. Low tide was at 4:18 a.m. at 0.29, running up to a high tide at 10:02 at 1.17, and then back down to a low at 3:29 p.m. at 0.39. All right, here we go with the angler interviews. All right, so coming in third place, we have Team Skeeter, and they dropped their 3 fish on the Saturday for 2.68. Backed it up with a bigger bag on Sunday of 3.03, which gave them a total of 10 fish for 5.71 kilos. And third place, I have Hayden Wadsworth and Chris Smith. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, thanks for having us. Yeah, thank you.
Very good. Now, Hayden, do I get your name right?
Yes. Yeah, Wadsworth, yep.
Perfect. All right. So, look, we had a bit of a chat leading into this, and you guys both fished the ABT doubleheader. How did that affect your fishing in the comp?
We fished some of the similar areas where we both fished in the ABT.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. My spots definitely didn't help us out too much.
But did you learn anything, or did it key you into any lure choices, like in whether you were going to fish plastics or hard bodies, or you kind of, being locals up there, you kind of had in your head what you're going to do anyway?
Yeah, I think it was definitely a bit of a different bite from that tournament. Like, we'll catch them on crankbaits and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then this time was more grubs and that, but still rack fishing.
Yeah, okay. And then in terms of the water conditions between the two comps, like obviously it was flood conditions more or less before. What was it like this comp?
It was a lot calmer, definitely. Like, the water had cleared right up. We had a pretty small tide, and you couldn't really get much better weather either. Like, there wasn't much wind. It was pretty clear days.
Which was quite different to the ABT, at least the first round, where you had pretty diabolical conditions to fish in.
Yeah. It was a lot different to that.
Fair enough. All right. Let's come back into the actual pre-fish. Did you guys get a chance to have a fish on the Friday?
Hayden did, but I was at work.
Right.
Yeah. So I went out for probably 2.5 hours just after work, and found a couple of fish, but not a proper pre-fish, no.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, let's come into the Saturday morning. Tell us about how your day started.
I started in the ABT.
Right.
At a rack up the river.
Yep.
I think we might have got 2 fish there, 2 or 3.
Okay. So a good start then, I take it?
Yeah. I was pretty positive on starting there. Just out of the last tournament, it was good to me. So might as well start there and then see what the day brings.
Yeah. Now, did you start then with grubs, or did you start with hard bodies?
Both, actually.
Yeah.
I threw a grub only because I caught fish on pre-fish with a grub.
I think I was throwing a crankbait straight up.
Yeah.
Like what I was before.
Okay. And in terms of those first couple of fish, was there any standouts in that, or were they just pretty bag fish?
We got, I think 2 were, 30 forkers, so they were just good bag fillers.
Yeah.
And then one was a bit smaller. But yeah, it was a good start to walk out, coming away with 3 from the first rack. So yeah, that was good.
Definitely. All right. And where'd you head off to after that?
We went.
There was a rack very close to that one, actually. And we just bounced through heaps of different racks that we knew of.
And basically, okay, so if you're fishing grubs, were you trying to get the lure to the bottom, or you slow rolling it, or what that look like?
Pretty much just like throwing it and letting it drop straight to the bottom, and then give it like a couple of hops and then want it straight back in. And yeah, if they didn't eat it straight away, you just keep moving through.
Okay. So moving forward, did you kind of stick with the grubs as the time went on, or did you rotate a little bit?
No, the grubs came through as the day went on. Like I think by about lunchtime, we both had the same lure tied on, and we were just going up and down racks, just fishing one side each.
Yeah, okay.
We did rotate through with some crabs and that sort of thing, and crankbaits and that. Yeah. I think you threw a top water there for a little bit, but yeah, they were definitely eating the grub the best.
I did get a fish.
All right. What was the setup there? Like, were you on like bait junkies, or what sort of grubs were you on?
Yeah, we were on the bait junkie 2.5-inch grub, and I was throwing the mudblood colour on a 1/16 ounce jig head, and I was bait junkie jig head as well.
Yeah, okay. So not super heavy, but enough to get it out there, I guess.
Yep.
Definitely. All right. Tell us about how your day sort of wrapped up. So tell us about filling your bag, and was there any upgrades?
We definitely upgraded once or twice on the Saturday, but it wasn't by much. We didn't lose any big fish on the Saturday, and we didn't really run into any monsters either.
Yeah.
I think we spent most of our time sort of up in the system a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, most of our fish were around that. I think we had three 30s and a 29 and a 27 or something.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, all the fish seemed to be the same sort of size where we were.
Yeah. Right. I take it from your name Skeeter, and you're in a Skeeter. How'd you go managing the racks and all that?
Yeah, good.
No dramas?
Yeah, it's not too bad. I've got a power pole on the back, so it makes life a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah, very cool.
That definitely helps having 2 guys that know how to use the electric, and like me and Hayden are like pretty good mates, and we do a lot of fishing, so I'm not scared to drive his boat or do any sort of thing like that.
Yeah, so one jumps down off the front, the other one jumps up, and vice versa, sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, someone's down the back sorting out the fish. You know, the guy, whoever's not, still up the front fishing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. So with 2.68, it looks like you guys were probably in 4th overnight?
5th, I think it was.
5th. Okay, cool. I always add it up and get it wrong. Okay, so 5th overnight, which is not a bad place to be in. What was your plan for Sunday? You just going to rinse and repeat, or what were you thinking?
We didn't change too much, but we just ended up, we didn't really have a plan. We just went and fished more racks, but we just seemed to find some fish in some different areas, and yeah, we covered those areas a few times in the one day and pulled some good fish off it.
Yeah, right. So tell us about your first fish. Did it come early again, or did it take a while to get onto them?
We didn't. Yeah, we pulled up to the first rack, and we actually got nothing of that. Yeah, that was the one that we did well on the first day.
Yeah.
So we went over to another spot which we caught fish at yesterday, and we caught them pretty good over there. Yeah, we caught.
Yeah. We went sort of back down the front of the system.
Yeah.
Back into what do we have? We had a little run in tide, so by the time we sort of fished the racks up the system and then went back down to the front, that tide had sort of slowed down and was getting towards the high. So yeah, it kind of turned on down there for us, which was good.
Okay. In terms of timing when it came on, do you have an idea of what time you reckon that would have been?
Maybe 10. They came on and off a couple of times through the day, The first sort of group of big fish we ran into was probably about 10:30.
Yeah, I was just looking. I was looking at the bite periods. Going the bite period on the Sunday was between say 10 and 1, so 10:30 is pretty right.
Yeah. It was definitely inside that for sure.
And so, if you're fishing grubs, what was the take like? Were they just pecking at it, or were they, getting it right down? How'd that look?
They were definitely like pecking at it a bit. Like there was a few fish that I pulled hooks on, and that's just, I think, a winter bite. They just peck at it off the bottom and they just get in the lip and that sort of thing. But the ones that actually got it right down obviously just came straight to the boat.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Is there anything else with regards to the fishing? Actually, we'll run through lines and leaders, but is there anything else, like you didn't miss any on the Sunday that stood out?
I got completely smoked on Sunday by a big one.
Nice.
I think Hayden got done as well. I lost probably an upgrade at the side of the boat on a crab.
Oh,
definitely pulled hooks on a few fish, but yeah, we did actually land a lot of fish on Sunday. Yeah, just not the big ones, not those key fish.
Yeah, right. And over the two, based on that comment, like, did you get more fish on the Sunday?
Yeah, we definitely had more chances.
Yeah.
I don't know, but we probably caught more fish, but we didn't really lose any big ones or drop any fish on the Saturday. But on Sunday, we were starting to fall apart a little bit.
Fair enough. What sort of lines and leaders were you running?
I was running 10-pound J-braid grand, and then it was a 12-pound leader for X-Link, a Dial X-Link.
Okay, so pretty solid.
Yeah.
With your, if you're using bait junkie hooks, were you using the heavy wire or the light gauge?
Definitely the heavy wire. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, you break them.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Look, I reckon that probably covers the fishing pretty well. Is there anything else we missed?
No. Pretty well sums up our weekend.
Very good. All right. Well, look, it was enough to get you into third place in what was, I believe, your first comp together, which is pretty awesome. What did you guys get to take home?
We got $656.
Very nice. All right. Well, look, there's one more thing before we shoot off. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
Definitely the event organisers. They ran a great event. So, yeah, thanks to them.
All right. Very good. All right, guys. Look, I want to say thanks for coming on and good luck in the next one. Hopefully, we'll see you at another event soon.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
No worries at all. Thank you. Okay, so coming in a second place, I have Team Tackle Addiction, Dizzy Scent. They dropped their 5 fish for 3.36, backing up on the Sunday with 2.72, giving them a total of 6.08 and first place. I have with me Rick King and Ryan Honeybrook. Welcome back to the show, guys.
Thanks, Davey.
How you going, Davey?
Yeah, but mate, look, I'm good. I want to know where's your captain? What's going on?
He had some special things on, I think, that weekend, and so yeah, we had to pick up the slack and contribute a little bit.
I say bludging.
Fair enough. So we got the 2 number 2s, and you've come up with a result.
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, we're pretty happy with the result, considering all things considered. It wasn't meant to be, but it all turned out, and yeah, second was where we ended up.
It did, and look, it was a very exciting weekend for you guys in terms of christening the new boat or the new to you boat, which I think we'll get into in a minute. What about we start with pre-fish? We'll start with you, Rick. Tell us about your boat and then lead into your plans for pre-fish.
So I picked up the boat on the Tuesday, brought it home Wednesday, hoping everything worked, and touched wood that it did, and said to Ryan, I said, let's go and fish it. And he's like, yeah, we're on. So back up there Friday. We didn't actually pre-fish the Friday. Yeah, we went back up there Friday night. Didn't know a thing about the boat. Rolled it off the trailer. We didn't even know if it was going to come off the trailer, but
yep.
It was all tight, sort of like, was new to us. Yeah, everything went well, and we fished pretty good.
Okay. Well, first of all, tell us what did you buy?
It's a Triton 165.
It's an older boat, so it's a 2005 hull, but it's got a 2023 Merc 150 on the back of it.
Oh, yep.
So she gets up and boogies a little bit.
Fair enough. And and just to get a bit off track, are you planning on doing some ABTs as well? Is that in the books?
It's not off the card, but yeah.
Fair enough. No pressure. We'll just put you right on the spot.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. All right. So you've got the brand new boat. You've got to launch in amongst all the, let's just call them professional boaters. How was that? Were you a bit nervous pulling it off the trailer?
Well, I put Ryan in the hot seat straight away, as I've never had a bass boat before. So he played skipper all weekend.
Right. Well, there you go.
It was pretty nerve-wracking when he says, I bought a boat, let's go fishing. By the way, you're driving all weekend.
And don't hurt it.
Yes.
Especially Forster. Like, it's a tricky waterway with all the sandbars and stuff. Like, it all looks good until you're high and dry.
Yeah. Pretty lucky I know Forster quite well. I probably know Forster better than any waterway down in Sydney where I live. So I was pretty confident with that. It was just, figuring out how to drive a boat. I've always had boats my whole life, driven boats my whole life, but it's something a bit different.
Fair enough. And look, we spoke before, or maybe last week, and the plan was just to go for a fish and just use the comp to break the boat in. But tell us, I think that changed at some point.
Yeah, it was for first fish, I reckon it changed, possibly.
All right, let's start there.
Well, when we were last boat off, weren't we, Rick? Last boat, I think.
Yeah, 27 of 27 we were.
Beautiful.
So we were last boat off, which was kind of good, I guess. We sort of gave us time to figure out what the go is and weren't going to hold anyone up behind us. Just took our time out and, up on the plane and went, okay, yep, this gets up on the plane quick, and hooked around, and a lot quicker than a kayak we could get to the paddock, let's just say that.
Absolutely.
And we were there, and I think, just fishing some of the outer poles in the paddock because, once again, I wouldn't say the most confident on the foot pedal on the lecky. I'm used to remote.
Yep.
So I said to Rick, let's just fish the outer poles to start with, and then as we build confidence up through the day, we'll venture deeper into the racks. And I think fourth or third cast, Rick?
Yeah, fourth cast.
Fourth cast straight in, felt the clunk, went, it feels like a flathead. Darts across, and Rick went, that ain't a flathead. Pulled it up, and that was a 960-gram fish, fourth cast of the day.
Right.
Great way to christen the boat, mind you.
100%. Bring in a kicker. And in context of the competition, that would have been one of the bigger fish to come in.
Yeah, it was probably one of the top 5 fish for the whole weekend, I'd say.
I think so. But based on looking at the results, where they weigh them because of the fishing.com.au keggers for cash.
Yeah.
So anyone that's got anything close, they're going to weigh it.
Yeah.
So all right. So you've got one in the well, and what happened? What changed?
Well, first of all, we had to find out what button turned the live well on.
Right. It sounds, I got to tell you guys, it sounds like a couple of geniuses out there.
Let's just say there was lots of laughs and everything happening the whole weekend of just, what do we do here? I don't know. And then, so there wasn't much fishing happening compared to how much of laughing and sorting stuff out there was. But it was, once we figured that out, it was pretty good.
Yeah, okay. All right. So you found that you got the live well on, put the big fish in. What happened then? You kind of knuckled down a little bit more. Yeah,
we just chipped away. We kept catching fish, and I think we had bag probably in a couple of hours, Ryan.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'd say we sort of just stuck to the outer poles in the paddock, just working our way around, jumping from lease to lease, each sort of corner that I know works all right. And I think we dropped a couple of fish not long after that, and we're on one for a bit, but then they sort of come in a quick little flurry. We got, I think on the next set of poles we went to, we pulled 3 off.
Right.
Something like that, just only small, probably 28 forkers, 27 forkers sort of thing. Just onto that 30 tip, I'd say they'll just fill in the bag. But it was sort of good to get some in, knowing that they were there and sort of what we both like fishing. They were fish we get coming off it, so it gave us a bit of confidence.
Right. And what were you throwing? What were you getting your fish on?
Well, day one was Aquas.
Aquas.
Yeah. 120th hidden weight, Aquas, salt and pepper. And yeah, it was just, I couldn't put it down all day.
Right. And you just floating it down around the poles and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, just hitting beside a pole and letting it sink down. The 120th, a little bit heavier than I usually throw in like a Crabby or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I seem to use it where there's a bit more current flow and a bit deeper sections on the outer poles.
Mm-hmm.
It'll sink down that bit quicker, get a bit more of that reaction by it, and then also be able to target those fish on the bottom, like sitting on the bottom beside the pole.
Yeah.
And that's what I noticed. A lot of it were coming. You had to really dead stick it and let it sit there, and they were nearly coming off when it was, if it wasn't sitting on the bottom, just before I was about to lift it off the bottom to wind it back in. That's when majority of the bites were coming.
Right. Wow. I mean, when I went to ask that question, I was like, well, what were you using? Using Crabbies or crabs? That's what I was going to say. But
yeah,
but obviously I was well off point. So
yeah, Crabbies were definitely tied on and crab, and they both, all three, that's pretty much the only three lures I threw all day.
Yeah, we didn't throw a crank all weekend.
Right. Okay.
A crank, and pretty much you threw a sprat for a bit, Rick, and
Sprat, Crabby, Aqua, that's about it.
Yeah, that's all both of us. So I threw a crab for a little bit and got a couple of real small fish.
Yeah.
On some deeper sections. And yeah, that was all the whole weekend pretty much. But Saturday was definitely the Aqua.
Yeah, right. Right. Okay. And in the bag I'm not sure which day it was, you got a kilo fish. Was that day one?
Day one, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Tell us about that fish.
So when was that? That was late, real late in the day.
Yeah, we were up the back racks, and we already had fished the set of racks, and Ryan's like, we've still got like half an hour. What do you want to do? And we're like, I don't know, we'll zip around to Hell's Gates and have a look at those racks.
Mm-hmm.
Away we went, and we were there in like 2 minutes.
Yeah. As kayakers, that's just unbelievable.
It was great. I love fishing Forster, but I've got spots on one side to the other side, and I can't fish them all in one day. I think I fished both of those spots 3 times in one day. It was great.
That's right. That's right. And you didn't even get tired.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, and we just similar procedures, just hitting out of poles, and yeah, Ryan clunked the big one on an Aqua. It was. Oh, was it Aqua or Crabby?
Yeah, big one come on an Aqua. We waited outside a set of racks because we saw a boat coming out of where we wanted to fish.
Mm.
And even all day, if we saw a boat on a spot and they were leaving, we'd still pull up and we'd still get fish.
Yeah, right.
Don't know whether we're fishing different to everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was only half an hour to go in the day, and we probably only had the big one threw out a 30 tipper, so it was a 38, ended up a 38 fork.
Yeah.
We threw out a 27 fork, I think it was, for a 38 fork. So
nice.
It was a damn good upgrade. Yeah, just went into a set of racks where people had just fished.
Yeah.
And we'd already fished it. I think we fished it twice through the day, and that was the third time we'd been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just lobbed the big cast out down the side of poles with some washboards sort of on it.
Mm.
And felt the hit and off it rare. Like I was fishing 8 pounds on Saturday. I was 8 pound leader, pretty stiff rod. And I was pretty much locked and no drag come off, but it was like you had to use my arm to sort of assist, knowing if it had me, went in underneath some racks, pulled it back out and turned. And it wasn't until Rick got the net underneath it that we sort of went, oh, that's a proper one.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And look, turned out to be the only kilo fish for the comp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was obviously very good in itself.
It's sort of done itself no justice because it lassoed itself, so it was restricted on how it could fight. Like it wrapped a line around its body somehow.
Yeah, one of it sort of, when I pulled it back from the rack and he went for another run, I felt him sort of roll, and then he sort of was struggling, and the line actually got wrapped under his pec fin and then back over himself. So he was sort of strangled in a way, lassoed, and
Yeah, wow.
And then so that was sort of, if he had another run in him, we were pretty close to the poles. I probably would have struggled to stop him. So it's kind of lucky that happened.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. So cool. All right. So you bang the big one in the well and race back down the front in about 3 minutes.
Yep.
I mean, sorry, I lost train of thought there, but one of the things that was good about that area and Forster in general, the amount of current flow there that throughout the day, spots do recycle as the fish move up and down the area. So, spot to fish.
Yeah, definitely. I reckon it was multiple spots through the day. Like we hit it. We had probably a milk run of spots. We had one spot where we got majority of all our fish earlier in the day. We didn't get another fish off there, but every other spot we'd go to, every time we go back, we'd at least get a bite, pull hooks or something. And even if we saw a boat there as we were driving towards it, they left, we'd still be able to go there and pull some fish.
Very cool. All right. So like I said in the beginning, you end up with 3.36. So you're like 400 grams off the lead. So you guys have been going, this is a good start to the comp.
Oh, 100%.
We were pretty happy with ourselves driving back to the boat ramp when we put it back on the boat, on the trailer, figured out how to do that one.
Yeah, you'd be driving it on, I take it?
Yeah, driving it on. And we sort of pulled the boat out, then looked at each other and went, shit, we did all right. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Did you give Carl a call?
Straight away.
Straight onto him.
Yeah, cool. Oh, you've been cheering.
Yeah, he was stoked.
He was stoked but disappointed because he wasn't there.
That's as you'd expect. As you'd expect. That's all right. It's a team effort, so it's all good.
Yeah, like Ryan, like day one, we were probably only fishing at 70% because the other 30% we were always worried about, is the battery going to start, or is the live well going to stop, or is the boat leaking somewhere? So we didn't actually give it our most day one kind of thing. Like we were always second guessing ourselves with the boat. But yeah, as it turned out, second day one, we're like, how good's this?
Exactly. And look, in saying that, did the boat let you down? Was there anything you go, oh, geez, we got to fix that?
Not a thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's heck.
The seller was like honest as it comes. He said, turn the key and go fishing, and that's pretty much what we done.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
All right. So let's set the scene. So you're in the new boat. So you're both so excited about that. You're in second place, and a little bit behind, but still catchable. What do you guys talk about overnight, and what you do in terms of getting ready for the next day?
We actually stayed different places. I was at my grandma's in Forster with the boat, putting it on charge, and Rick was at his mum's place up in Harrington.
Right, nice.
Drinking beers and having Ryan on FaceTime telling him what to tie on and new FGs on my rods. It was great, Doofy.
How good is that?
Yeah, so while he was relaxing, drinking beers, I was putting the batteries on charge, rigging his rods for him and doing everything.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. So Rick's with his mum, you're with grandma.
Yep.
Yeah. Sounds like a top night.
Yeah.
But we did speak. We just said, let's keep it simple. Let's just rinse and repeat. Yes, like today, Saturday, and go from there and just adjust if we have to, kind of thing.
Yeah. And throughout day one, like you basically said you fished outer edges and stuff like that. So throughout day one, you basically fished the outer edges. Did you hit the front wall of the bridge at all?
We did duck out the front for a little bit later in the day when it sort of quietened down a bit. We said to Rick, I said, I think I've missed the time of this, like we're in probably the tide's already ripping out.
Mm-hmm.
Probably missed it, but I said, let's just see, let's just go have a look.
Yeah.
It doesn't take long to get anywhere in here, so let's just go have a look. Quickly raced down there, sounded along the wall, found where the fish were, but yeah, just it was ripping too hard. I said, nah, let's not bother. Let's race back up the back. So yeah, we raced back up and gave the boat a good run, went up to some, sort of fished a lot of racks. Like we went right up behind Wallace Island to the racks and racks up the back there. So we hit a fair few racks sort of in and around everywhere. Spots that I like to fish and I know can hold some good fish, and especially and we still, like, by that stage we hadn't got our big one yet, but we knew we had a competitive bag at least, which if we didn't have the big fish, we probably still would have been sort of bottom end to the probably top 15, I would say.
Yeah, okay.
At least a 10th. So I think we still would have had an all right bag. It was just that was our one smaller fish in there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it just crossed my mind before we roll into day two that the wall's been playing a bit of a role in comps at the Forster of late. So I was keen to see how you guys went.
Even in the Hobie round where I got third, it was I fished the wall, not the outer section because we weren't allowed, but even the inner section, and I got some good fish along there. So we went and checked that, and on Saturday and Sunday, I think, and we didn't get to. We got fish on the wall on a Sunday, but not down the front on the Saturday.
Yeah, okay. All right. Looks like we lost Rick. He got a phone call again, I reckon.
Yeah, probably.
So day 2, you're in second place. You're both a real shot. Tell us what you did.
A bit more nerve-wracking on day 2, and we had to start boat second. I didn't want to stuff anything up, considering that, first did a U-turn straight away and went straight for the wall. So we were the lead boat off. We had Cromo straight behind us.
Oh, yeah. He'd be giving you a rev up.
And, Shorty went, Rick's going, he's coming. I said, all right, well, I've got to put the foot down then. And, off we go.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was just a sort of rinse and repeat in the morning, straight back to where we started, knowing that we sort of got the fish like that tide, just waiting for that tide a bit more.
Mm.
And we sort of struggled a bit, didn't we, in the morning? Like I pulled hooks on 3 or 4 fish straight away. Just a real tentative bite on the Sunday. Definitely noticed that.
Yeah, wow. Was there any change in water quality or anything like that?
I probably got a little bit clearer, I think, on the Sunday.
Yeah, right.
Definitely was a bit clearer. Had an Aqua tide on straight away, and
I think we started day 2 on. You had Aqua, I had Crabby, just to see what was going to work for the day, kind of thing. And then it changed around a bit on the Sunday. They wanted to eat crabs.
Yeah, Crabbies. Sunday just completely swapped, and the Aqua rod hardly got touched, and the Crabby rod was up, and I didn't put the Crabby rod down all day.
Wow. Okay. All right. Tell us how it started. What was your first fish?
Probably a 28 tipper or something like that.
Yeah, it was only a just
Wasn't
legal.
great.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
all right,
it was a fish, so it sort of released the nerves a little bit, going, all right, they're still here and they're still feeding, so we should be able to grind a bag out at the very least.
Yeah, okay. And you remember how to turn the live well on?
Yep.
Yep.
Live
Had
well
that
straight
sorted.
on. It was a bit more efficient on the Sunday, let's just say that. It was a bit more fishing time and less
A bit
tinkering
more
time.
focused.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. So tell us how the day progressed from there.
Yeah, so we hit those outer poles like we did on the Saturday, and then we managed to pull a little bag together, probably 1.6 by 10 o'clock.
Yeah, about
11 o'clock.
10 o'clock. Yeah, just all real squeakers.
Yeah, right.
Real small ones that we're going at. We need to get rid of some of those, and thought it got a bit quiet for a bit after about 10 o'clock for us.
Yeah.
For at least an hour or so, and we sort of ducked around way up the back or behind the last set of racks, sort of behind Wallace Island. Where'd we go after that, Rick? Oh, we ducked down into Breckenridge Channel for a bit.
Yeah, just had a look around.
Just sort of hitting them. We're pulling fish and just slowly upgrading, like from a 28 tipper to a 29 tipper.
Yeah, right.
Like not very big, but just slowly.
And then we got one decent fish, probably like a 36 tipper.
Yeah, that was a good fish, that one. We pulled around and Rick said, all right, come on, let's go up the back. Rick, I was still up the front on the lecky, so Rick put his rod down and I went, just got to have one cast. I could see a section. I went, just looks pretty good. Threw in the Crabby. It was like the perfect cast. And as soon as it landed, we just see the blue nose come out from underneath. And Rick saw it as well. And he goes, oh, and I'm like, don't say anything. And watch the whole thing unfold. Like just come out, look at it, watch the Crabby drift past, and then just you saw him engulf it and turn. And the water was crystal clear. So you just watched the whole thing happen. It was one of the best eats I've had.
Yeah, nice.
And set the hooks on the Crabby and reef it out. On Sunday, I pretty much used 10-pound leader all day.
Okay. Interesting.
And especially after we had the bag, I went, I'm not letting anything go to chance. If we do hook a good one, I want to stop it.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. That's very cool when you do see it, eat it. And that's one of the differences with standing in a boat versus a kayak. You just see a bit more.
So that would have put us, Ryan, 2.3 kilos with that fish then in the well?
I think, by that stage, we'd slowly upgrade and everything. I think, we probably would have had 2.3 in there.
And we're like, that's fishing, like these are the breaks. And we had a good time. We christened the boat and it was like 150 and Ryan goes, let's go. One more shot at the paddock.
150. What time were you due back?
No, it was a bit early. No, it
2:00.
was 1:30. It was 1:30 when we left. We had a 2:20 check-in on Saturday, 2:00 on Sunday.
Yep.
And it was about 1:30. I said, come on, we need one more crack at the paddock. This like couple of spots I know, we got to give it one more go.
Okay.
Rick said, all right, let's go. And we what did we say? From there, we went, just so we know we're back safe, 150. We're pulling the electric up. By the time we drive back through the 4-knot zone, get back, we should have 5 odd minutes to spare.
Okay. All right.
And that was the plan anyway.
Okay. And what happened? Tell us. So you raced down the paddock?
We fished some out of poles. And I said to Rick, have a look in there. I can see fish tailing in there. And Rick said, there's a lot of mullet in here. I said, yeah. I said, let's go in there. And Rick goes, it's 1:48. And I said, we got time. It's all right.
We got 12 minutes. It's all good.
Turn the electric right up. And by this stage, Rick, you'd pretty much stopped casting, hadn't you?
Oh, yeah, I was done. I was just clock watching then.
He was clock watching, and I was up the front. I'm like, we'll just go in. Turned up this little run, a couple of floating racks, like the big blue barrels with got the baskets in the middle of the big pontoon sort of thing.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And yeah, I sort of went up and got nothing. I could see the fish still tailing. I went, they must be mullet. One last cast out. And Rick goes, it's 150. And I went, all right, let this crabby sink to the bottom. The crabby didn't make the bottom.
Right.
Sunk down. I seen the tick in the line. And I went, oh, God. And it just nearly pulled the rod out of my hand. And
Yeah, nice.
Lock drag, so nothing was coming off the reel. And I'm like trying to give it some, but also pull back as hard as I could. And then
Rod and reel, deep, he's in the water, like down under the barrels.
Right.
I felt it go under, and then I felt like rubbing, and I'm like, oh, no.
Oh.
So I've run to the back of the boat, nearly tripped over past, I don't know what I nearly tripped over, not knowing where the step is in the boat.
Yep.
And Rick's going, just get it out. And I'm like, trying, I feel it. And then I felt him coming back, and then I felt like a pop, and the rod sort of jolted, and I'm like, oh, no. And then my line shot through the water to the left-hand side. And I'm like, so it's popped off. So I think it was like wrapped around one of their clips on the side of the baskets or something.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
And it's finally popped off that. And then I've just given him one hell of a pull and saw it and went, oh, that's a good one. That's the one we need. And went, I'm just going to pole it in.
Yep.
And Rick sort of gone, it was rubbing. And I went, oh, no. And then I've grabbed the net. And he's up the front trying to hold the lefty off the front. I've just grabbed the net, netted it, flicked it in. The crabby was nowhere to be seen. It was that far down its throat.
Right.
Yeah, and it was probably, we didn't end up weighing it in the end, but yeah, it would have been close to another 960 odd.
Yeah, okay. So it was a decent fish.
970 gram fish. And I looked at Rick, goes, it's 152 now. I went,
No pressure.
So I had to just cut the line off at as far down as I could, grabbed our smallest fish, threw the smallest fish out, big fish in the well, lecky up, and straight back we went, and still made it back. Still made it back with plenty of time to spare, but
you could have another cast, mate.
It was a nerve-wracking little bit. I did say to Rick, I said, I'd love to have another shot at just up a bit further, but I've got nothing tied on now.
Oh dear.
So yeah,
there you go.
That was a good little event, a last little minute eventful thing, and I just had a feeling there had to be something decent in there, and yeah, just turns out that we're lucky enough to throw the crabby in the right spot at the right time.
That's right, and I'm not sure what that added to your bag, but it certainly took you up from maybe 6, 7, or 8 up into second. I'd take it.
Yeah. At least same on that day as well. It would have been throwing out like a 30 tipper as well.
Yeah, right.
On that, so like they were a decent upgrade.
Yeah, nice.
Good 500 gram upgrade, I'd say.
Yeah,
very good. Very good. Last cast.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, there you go. All right. Well, that was an eventful fishing weekend. From what I take it, at least, Ryan, you fished 8 pound leader Saturday and then 10 pound mostly on Sunday. Were you about the same, Rick?
Yeah, much. 7 and 8, I was fishing all weekend.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool.
And very similar, like lures and crabbies, aquas, sprats.
we were pretty similar the whole weekend. Once we figured out what was working, it was sort of, that's what we stuck with.
Yeah. Rick, did you get any on the sprats?
Yeah, got a couple on the sprat, Davey, but the big ones, Ryan got all the big ones. I just bag fillers me.
Fair enough. That's all right. Someone's got to fill the bag, mate. It's all good.
Yeah.
All right. You get back to the weigh-in, you end up in second place. What do you guys get to take home for second?
Just on $1,100, I think it was.
Nice.
Ryan got big monster fish with 1.06 kilos. He got a pair of tonic sunglasses hat and a $50 fishing.com voucher.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a nice little weekend away learning how to fish out of a boat.
I was going to say, that's a good way to start paying that boat off.
Yeah, I reckon.
Before we shoot off, guys, look, thanks again for coming on. Is there anyone that you guys want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
First of all, probably Carlos for giving me the itch to get a boat and start fishing out of a boat. But
Fair enough. He tells me he's going to give you some speed lessons.
yeah, he wants to give us a couple of skipper lessons and show us how to make this thing dance.
Yep, fair enough. Be good to see.
Which I'll be on the shore while that happens, just watching.
Just watching. Going,
Yeah.
That's my boat.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Make sure you wear the kill switch is all I'd say.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Is there anyone else you want to give a shout out to?
Oh, mate, it's Steve from Tackle Addiction. He helps us out. We're both, Rick and I, we head in there and have a chat with him all the time, and he helps us out with all the gear and getting us when we message and say we need some gear, and it's sort of he sorts us out and brings it to wherever we need it for us if he's coming there, or he's ready. The shop's always ready for us, and mainly just Steve from Tackle Addiction.
All right, very good, guys. All right, well, congratulations again. Thanks for coming on. I'll probably see you at the next Hobie round, I reckon.
Might not see Ryan, but I'll be there, Deefy.
Very good. Very good. I'll see you.
It's just getting stronger and stronger, so I may possibly be there.
Well, there you go. All right, guys, have a good afternoon.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. Have a good one.
Coming in first place, we have Team Stratosphere. He dropped his 5 fish for 3.77, backed it up with a very similar bag of 3.69, which gave him a total of 7.46 kilos, about 1.4 kilos above the competition. And first place, I've got David Masters. Welcome back to the show for the second time in 2 rounds.
Hey, mate. Thank you. Thanks for having me back. Bit of a surprise, to be honest.
No worries at all. It's quite funny because I was a bit late in recording the last one. So it's only been a couple of weeks and here we are again.
I know. It's like 2 weeks or something. It's insane.
It's very good, mate. It's a great result up there at Forster, which can be a tricky system to master. So, you've done very well.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I've only ever fished it twice before, to be brutally honest. And I haven't been there in, 3 years or something. So, yeah, it was kind of flying a bit blind on this one.
Fair enough. All right. But what I would say is the last little while, mate, you've had some great success in competitions. So it looks like you're definitely dialing some things in.
Yeah, well, whatever it is that I'm doing at the moment, it's working. So I'm going fishing, having fun, and just backing myself and my decisions, really.
Very good. All right. In terms of pre-fishing, tell us about getting up there on the Friday. Did you get up there and have a look around leading into the comp?
I did. I actually went up on Thursday because I was getting my boat service at Manning River Marine. So Thursday afternoon was a nice, lazy check-in, get relaxed, get everything ready so I could get up early. And my plan was to spend the whole day pre-fishing because I hadn't been there in a long time, cover a lot of ground. So I had full battery power, full petrol, everything. Because of the recent success on Lake Mac, I wanted to replicate that, obviously, but technique-wise, I'm very confident doing that. So I thought, well, Wallace Lake should be a good match for that. Having said that, I've never fished Wallace Lake, but I looked at it on Google Earth. I thought it's got to be similar. I had a few pockets I wanted to look at. I got there. It was blowing a gale. It was like 35 k's an hour. It was damn horrible. It was almost unfishable. The water was brown. I did a full lap of the lake just to map it out, just to find areas anyway, just to look at structure and depths and whatnot. Horrible, horrible day. I saw fish, but hardly anything worth fishing. So I got off the water at about probably 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, went back to the cabin, sat down and thought, right, what have I done before? What is my plan? Spoke to my good mate Adam Richards about it, who I fished there last with. We sort of went through, what we felt would work for me and what I felt I was going to be confident in, and formulated a plan, and that's exactly what I did. So that was pre-fish.
Fair enough. All right. Before we jump into comp day, what's a couple of lures you had tied on leading into the comp?
Leading into it, so I had blades because I seem to be the ace of blades at the moment because I wanted to fish the lake. I was going to try out the new Daiwa Reflex that looks like a Jackal TN thing, only smaller. I had some plastics like the wave minnows, also like the Daiwa, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a Sprat, the 275 type shape with a little split tail on it. I had some of those, a couple of hard bodies, like shallow and deep. Obviously, I had crabs on. I think that was pretty much the arsenal of what I had because of what I was planning on fishing. Like, I don't really fish racks, and I was fishing by myself, so racks wasn't really on the cards. Even though I had 2 rods for that, I pretty much wasn't, it wasn't high on the agenda. So that's sort of, they were still sitting back in the cabin, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Well, then take us into Saturday and tell us how your day started. Did you get some early or how'd that look?
Okay, so Saturday, I was lucky. I think I was starting in 5th place or something like that. So I got away fairly early. The plan was to go out to the wall because it looked like I was going to have a high tide at about 9:15. Sitting there at start, and the tide was still fair ripping out. And I'm just like, this tide is not what I thought it was going to be. And then someone said, oh, yeah, it's about 3.5 hours out here. I'm just like, great, I had no idea. So all of a sudden I got 10 minutes to go and going, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? It's like, all on black, man. I'm going there anyway. If I get there too early for it, so what? I'll have a scope around. So I went out to the wall. There was a couple of other boats went out there too. Like at least there was only, I think, 2 in front of me. So that gave me my choice of where I wanted to go just about. I mean, pretty much they left the spot that I wanted alone, which was cool. So I went straight there and had that. And yeah, basically I just was throwing crabs. Like the tide was fair ripping, but I was basically throwing it right up current, letting them drop till I could feel it hit some structure, drag it over, and then, wait for the bite sort of thing. So I got pretty lucky, even though the tide was ripping. I mean, my first fish came at 7.19, and that was a 31 forker. 7.50, I got a 38 forker. Then it sort of, which was quite nice. That I thought that was a kegger, but that only weighed, I think, 0.95 or something like that.
Yeah.
Which was, at the end of the day, ended up being the second biggest fish in the tournament, which, I was very surprised about. And then, had to wait another hour, then another hour, then another hour. And then there was a flurry around 10:30, 10:37, 10:45, 10:55, 11:03. And then current started ripping again, and it was like time to get out of there. So I knew I had a good bag at that stage. I had scales on the boat, but I was sort of too nervous and just too much going on. I didn't weigh anything. I just was going off the lengths, and it looked like a great bag. And I sort of was doing rough numbers in my head going, nah, that can't be right. That can't be right. Because I was thinking that's pushing high threes. It's like, nah, no way, no way. Anyway, that was sort of it. So I got out of there at about 12 because there was too much current. I thought, well, I'm not going to upgrade now. I'll go looking for something else. So, I got out of there then and really only caught one more fish after that, which was a 5 forker.
Out at 25?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, we spoke earlier, and I mean, although it's not ideal to fish a team's event on your own, one place where it probably is okay is when you're trying to fish a high current rock wall. Having the whole boat yourself has to be not a bad thing, let's say.
Yeah, that's right. I sort of tend to, if I've got space, I use it. So there is sort of, even though I was fairly focused in what I was doing, there's still, 4 rods rigged up with crabs that are floating around. And in that current, you'll throw one out, if you can't get it back, you'll bust the leader, throw that thing down, and then just pick another one up. So there was a little bit of debris floating around the the deck. But like in that current, you sort of do need to play the fish a fair bit. They're not going to come straight up right next to you.
Yeah.
You do need to move around a fair bit. So it's nice actually having that room to be able to just uninhibited move around and just do what I need to do. So, yeah, it is, in a way, it is actually good fishing that sort of stuff by yourself.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah. And well, it worked well on the day. You got the biggest bag. What sort of line classes were you running for the crabs?
Just 6 pound braid and 8 pound leader. Wasn't going too heavy. I did have one rod set up, my crabs rod set up with straight through, but I find that in that sort of current, if you do need to get your lure off a rock, there's just too much stretch and all of that to actually shock the thing off there. Even though you can flick the line, whatever, it just doesn't work. So I go braid leader. I do run a fairly long leader, probably about 5 meters or so, just to give it some flex because you're only working small trebles.
Yeah.
And I did lose a couple of fish because of running the braid leader. So then all I did is just back the drag off a little bit more. Took me a bit more time to land them. And I caught one in the net because it actually dropped the lure, but I actually caught it. I did drop another key fish, which really hurt, but at the end of the day, it didn't. But at the time, it was very upsetting. A few words were said, and luckily there was no children on the wall at the time. But
fair enough.
Yeah, so you sort of got to adjust. But yeah, running braid leader on the day, and again, just my Samaki Zing Extreme rods. That's all I used really. They have fairly good backbone. They don't need to be too light in that situation. I generally only really use them for blading really, and they sort of work out quite well with crabs as well. So that's pretty much the setups on them, and just on a 2,500 reel.
Yeah, okay. And with the fish, did you find any patterns on kind of where they were on the wall? Like, did you have to cast up tight on the top of the wall, or were they sitting wide, or was there anything going on there?
That totally depended on the current. I could see on the sounder that there were fish sitting anywhere from 2 meters down all the way to the bottom at 10, 11 meters there. You weren't going to get the ones at 11 meters when there was so much current running. I tried to get down there. It was just too difficult. So when there was a lot of run, I would get them shallower because I'd have to cast as far as I could up current and then stay in touch with the line all the way back until it's actually quite difficult to do, until you could find that structure. Look, it wasn't an exact science. You literally do not have as much control over it as you'd really want. Sometimes you get quite lucky where you'd be chasing it, you'd reel up and go, oh yeah, okay, there it is. And you could just feel the structure and then you could just drag it and let it drop again. And that's pretty much where the bite was. I will say that technique is don't do it if you're going to get attached to crabs. That's all I'm going to say.
Fair enough. Fair enough. How many did you leave on the wall?
Look, I was quite fortunate, probably only about 10 or so. Probably had 10 or 12 in 2 days, so it wasn't terrible. I did have about 8 or 9 that I had to fix up when I got back because, claws would get bent and, hooks straightened and squashed and whatnot. So I don't bother fixing them on the water. I just cut it off and throw another one on. It's just you don't have sort of time, especially if there is a bite window on that wall because the tide changes there are really, really quick. I did actually notice at some stage when you're coming up to the tide, like you'd think it'd be slowing down, you'd get your lure down underwater because it'd be going one way, but the water underneath is going the other way. It was a really weird setup at times. So, and it changed. Like there was big eddies there. There was a lot going on to really sort of concentrate to throw into. So sometimes you could use that eddy to get your lure down a little bit more. Sometimes it'd blow it up over something. It's kind of tough and like high concentration fishing. So again, kind of in a way good to do that by yourself. You can be laser focused. You don't, like, as horrible as it sounds, you're not talking to anyone. You're just concentrating on doing what you're doing with your line. If you really need to react fast, you can. You don't have to worry about someone else's line or, getting crossed up or it's like, oh, you're in the way or whatever. It's just you do what you got to do at the drop of a hat. So yeah, so that's kind of really the technique, and like nothing really changed from that. That was it. But they were shallower if the current was running more, and the less it ran, the deeper you could get. So when it did slow right down, you probably only had about 5-10 minutes when it was really slack, because it changes real fast there.
Yes.
And in that time, you really maximize getting it down there as fast as you can. So occasionally I used the bigger crab. Most of the time it was the little 50s, but the heavier one of the two. So, yeah, it was like the depth was just purely depending on what the water was doing.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, mate, you put back in at what was cracking bag. So first place overnight, I think. Tell us about day 2, mate. How'd that play out for you?
Well, everyone was saying day 2 fished better. For me, I actually thought it was more of a struggle. But when I look back at my catch pattern, it actually really, while it was physically a hard day, it actually seemed like it wasn't. Like first fish was, well, let's go back to the beginning. I went straight back to the wall because that's what worked for me. The wind was supposed to be dropping, and it did drop on that day. And I thought, I could really be tempted on going into the lake. But when you've got a 3.77 kilo bag and you're like nearly a kilo up on third place, nearly half a kilo up on second place, you'd be mad to change anything. Like, especially when a wall is going to replenish. You've always got constant water flow there. They're not sitting in there because they're a territorial fish. They're sitting there because there's bait getting pushed through there, there's food getting pushed through, and there's obviously places to hide. So
yeah,
I really couldn't, as much as I wanted to go and do what I wanted to do, I resisted the urge of fishing what I wanted to fish and fishing what I knew was going to work. So
sure,
I went straight back. And the good thing was, starting at number 1 is I knew I was going to get exactly what I wanted. So I went to the exact same spot of the wall. I know that because there was a local that was fishing for blackfish there the day before, and I did have a chat to him while we were fishing. And I went back and he was sitting on the same rock. So it was like I knew that I was exactly the same spot. So the spot was already worked out for me because I knew exactly what I was doing the day before. So it probably reflects in the results, because with a 7 o'clock start for the tournament, my first fish was 7:08, my second fish was 7:20, my third fish was 7:47, my fourth was 8:30, and my fifth was at 8:54. So it was on pretty much straight away. And like the first two are 32 fork, 24, 26, 27. That's where I was starting to get a bit nervous, because then from, say, 9 o'clock till 12 o'clock, we had a lot of current and I really wasn't turning anything. I dropped a couple that were like really isolated bites where I thought that was a really good fish, because if it's going to move in this current, it's a big, strong thing to do that. It's not a little pecker. So I was really disappointed at that. But come 12 o'clock, strangely enough, there was quite a lot more boats come out onto the wall as well.
Yeah, right. Who would have thought?
But having said that, no one really stuck it out either. Like there was a few come out at 12 o'clock and I saw them catching fish, which was great because they weren't under my nose, so it didn't really bother me. But then 12:12, I got another 32. 12:24, I got a 34. And 1:12, I got a 30. And it was like when that last sort of 30 came, I knew I was sitting on a good bag, because while there's nothing huge in there, they're all low 30 forkers. They're all the same school fish. They're solid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to say.
What Steve Morgan always says is to win on any arena, you've got to be pushing over 30 forkers and a whole bag of them. And that's all I could think about. I was like, well, I've got that. I don't have to win today because I've already got a head start from yesterday. So it did give me a bit of that buffer, but man, I honestly didn't think I had it. There's no way. It was just like, there's no kicker in there. Like there's not enough.
No kicker, but you're still more than a kilo up.
Turns out that way, yeah, I probably could have left one or two of those out there.
Exactly. Well, that's awesome. Mate, on the Sunday or over the weekend, how'd you go in terms of big crab, small crab?
Mainly smalls, mainly the 50 mil, the heavy ones. I did throw a couple of the big ones. They didn't really work, to be honest. But I did also have those rigged up on a heavy leader, because they were sort of like, if I had to go and throw them in the racks, they were sort of set up ready to go for that. So I think I had like 12-pound leader on those. 12-pound leader, 20-pound braid, bulletproof setup where you can bend those hooks out and drag that thing out if you need to. But
yeah,
The downside of that is fishing that current, I don't get the cast distance because it's not a whippy rod. It's a heavy leader, heavy braid. It just doesn't have the distance of what I can get out of a nice whippy rod with a smaller setup that will fly a long way. So,
yeah,
for me, that didn't work. I didn't bother tying them onto the other setups because, like, well, it's working anyway. So I was very lucky I didn't have to experiment with much at all.
Oh, okay.
They were a combination of olive and the olive UV crabs with another one in there that I don't even know what colour it is. It was like a grey sort of a colour, but when I've looked at the cranker colours, it's like it's none of those. It might have been,
right.
Maybe it was one of the early ones that I've had in a tackle box for ages, that it was brand new, never opened, that I'd never used. I don't know, because it was like olive, but it was sort of purpley grey. I don't know. It was a weird colour.
Right.
He caught some fish too, so he's now got some nice UV claws on it, and he looks awesome.
Ah, fair enough. He's good to go for another round, mate.
Oh, totally. Yeah. He's my new favourite.
Very good. All right, mate. I reckon that covers the fishing pretty well. Look, it was obviously a great round and a very convincing win. What did you get to take home for first place?
It was only a smallish field, so it was just under 2,000. It was $1,968, which is, interesting enough, I was actually born in 1968, so it was kind of funny on that sense.
There you go.
Yeah, so I mean, still extremely worthwhile weekend. More than paid for all the crabs. And when it comes to thanking people, Adam Costa at fishing.com, he loves me because he messages me, he goes, I love it when you win because I win too. So it's just like, it all gets poured back into the fishing industry. You know, it's there to enjoy, and that's what we do. So, yeah.
Very, very good. Mate, well, look, in addition to that, is there anyone else you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
I think not really. No, there is. Like, as I mentioned earlier, Adam Richards, good mate of mine, I talked it through with him. He's sort of my sounding board for what I do because he knows how I fish and he's watched me develop because he used to be a teammate of mine. Him and I sort of talked about what I was doing, and he talks me into trusting myself, which is really good because when we fished together, I felt that I always relied on his decision-making skills. I have always trusted my angling skills, but I've never had the confidence to feel that I make good decisions. And this year, fishing most of it by myself, I've really had to dive in the deep end and make those decisions. And look, the results are there that it's giving me confidence to actually back myself, and what I decide to do is probably the right thing for me. But learning as an angler, learning what works for me and what my style is been the key thing. And talking that through with close friends of mine that I fish with, they're all saying the same thing. Just keep doing what you do because whatever it is you're doing is working. So thanks to those guys who know who they are. No sponsors to thank as such. Adam from fishing.com does look after me. His service is impeccable, but I'm not a sponsored angler. It's just me against the world.
Very good. And on top of the world at the moment, mate.
Absolutely, mate. I'm shell-shocked. I don't know what to say. Like I'm just, it's not something I expected would happen. It's to do two back-to-back is just insane. Like even to win one, like to win Lake Mac, and it was a convincing win too. And like I did not see that coming, and to turn around and do it again, like wow, I don't know. It's just, I'm the luckiest angler alive at the moment, I think.
Oh, very good, mate. Very good. All right. Well, that is awesome, mate. Congratulations on 2 in a row and even just winning one. And I guess we'll probably talk to you again soon.
I hope so. Thank you very much, mate. And thanks to Grant Oliver for putting that tours, the New South Wales Tournament Series on. I forgot to thank him. He does an amazing job. They're there before the anglers in the daytime. They're there after we've all left. Hats off to him and his boys. They do run an amazingly tight ship up there with the best, and keep it up, man, because I want to keep fishing those for as long as they're out there. So thank you. And thanks, Deethy, for doing these, mate. It's awesome. Thank you.
No worries, mate. Thank you for coming on.
Pleasure. Thank you.
All right. So as I record this, big shout out to the guys and girls in the collective. I know that there has been a bunch of collective members that have been in the top podium positions, and this one was no exception, with Rick King up the top there out of the collective. But there's been a bunch as I record this in the last few weeks. There's probably been 7 people in the collective on the podium. How good is that? Another thing I wanted to kind of get out there, if anyone's got anything for what cheeses me off, or maybe you've done a dumb thing, make sure you send them in. I'd love to tell the world all about it. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for staying till the end, and I'll talk to you next week on the Bream Fishing Project.
Thanks for listening. Hopefully you were informed, inspired and entertained. If you were able to learn something or just enjoyed listening, please consider subscribing and rate us on your favourite podcasting platform.